Hey everyone, welcome to the Knit and Crochet Spot. My name's Melissa and I'm coming to you from the suburbs of Atlanta, Georgia. Today is Monday, September 27th, and I'd like to say welcome to any new subscribers and welcome back to any returning subscribers. And I'd also like to say thank you if this is the first time you're checking out my channel. If you like this content, I hope you'd consider subscribing. This channel is about knitting and crochet and yarn. And if you like this video, I sure would appreciate a thumbs up and if you left a comment. So today's video, I have two finished objects to share with you. They are knitted finished objects, and I have 4 works in progress, 3 knitted works in progress, and 1 crochet. So let's get on with it. So my first finished objects are a pair of socks. These were works in progress last time I podcasted about works in progress. So here they are. I knit a vanilla sock. I cast on 64 stitches. I do a 2x2 rib for 15 rows. This is about 30 rows in the leg. I do an afterthought heel and then I do about 65 rows in my foot, and the toe is just a regular toe that I Kitchener. So here they are, and they match up pretty well, which I prefer. I like that. So let me tell you about the yarn. So the yarn that I used, the main part, is a Knit Picks yarn. It is Knit Picks Felici. This is their new Felici line they just came out with a few months ago, and the colorway of this is called Base Jump. Each skein is 50 grams for 218 yards. It is 75% superwash merino wool, 25% nylon, and the Felici is made in Italy. And so I used 2 skeins, and this is what I have left. I used the 2 skeins because it's easier for me to try to get them to match up, the socks to match up. So I have plenty to probably do. I haven't weighed them or anything, but I probably have plenty to do another pair of socks, shorty socks with contrasting heels, toes, and cuffs. So there's that yarn. And then for the heel, I used another Knit Picks yarn. It is the Knit Picks Stroll. Here's the label. This is 75% fine superwash merino wool, 25% nylon. It's 231 yards for 50 grams. And this colorway is Rainforest Heather, and it's made in Peru. So here is the skein of yarn, and I have a bunch of this stroll that I use mainly for contrasting heels, toes, and cuffs. And that is what I did on this one. So there are these socks. And the Felici yarn, if you don't know this, is extremely soft. So there they are. So that is my first works in progress. My first finished object. Oh, and the needles that I use are, I used on those my Addy Rockets, a 2.25. And I do magic loop on a 32-inch cord. So my second finished object is a knit hat, and I wish I had a mannequin that would show this hat properly, but I don't. So I'm just going to show it like this. So here it is. This is it. It's really cute. It's got, see where it kind of bunches up together. It looks really cute on. I'm not going to put it on because I look silly in hats. But here is the hat. And the mannequin heads I have just don't show it off properly. So there it is. And this pattern is, I will link it all down below. I can't remember if it's a free pattern or paid for pattern that I got off Ravelry. But here it is. It is called the Nip and Tuck Hat. Isn't that adorable? And it came out, it came out nice. It came out with the effect I wanted it to. I'm really happy with it. So there it is. Although it was getting a little big. Here's the decreases, or here's the top of the hat. And so I ended up, instead of going, I didn't finish all the decreases. I ended up just gathering it together because it was getting a little big. And I don't like my hats too slouchy. So I just kind of, cinched it up. But I think it looks fine. So there's that. So who is the pattern by? Designed by Vera Sanin. And that's it. And the yarn that I used is a Premier yarn. It is the Premier Anti-Pilling Everyday DK. Here is the label. And this yarn is a number 3 DK. It is, let's see, 273 yards for 100 grams. It's 100% anti-pilling acrylic. The colorway is Ice Pop Speckle. And it is made in Turkey. And this is what I have left. That's what I have left. And I used a 3.75 needle, on a 16-inch cord. So there is that. I'm really happy with it. It came out really cute. So and this is also extremely soft. So those are my 2 finished objects. So we'll get on with my works in progress. And the first one is my sweater. I've shown a few times. I'm still plugging along at it. It's a knit sweater. And I have it on waste yarn now because I finished the first skein of yarn. Excuse me. And it's living in my Cottontail Farms bag. So this is on waste yarn. And okay. So here it is. I'll try to get the front. So here, maybe if I back up a tiny bit. So here it is. Can you see? Yep. So I didn't do a ton. Where the stitch marker is where I stopped last time. So I did about that much. What is that, like an inch or so? So that's what I put up. That's what I did. So here it is. I have it on waist yarn to have my daughter try it on, and it's fitting. You can see the detail. So I finished 1 skein of yarn. These are big skeins of yarn. So I think all I'm going to need. So so here's the skein of yarn. Look at that. It's got let's see, it has 665 yards for 8 ounces. So there's a lot. So I just need 1 more. I think this will do it. This will do the rest of the sweater, the rest of the body, and then the sleeves. Because I'm going to do short sleeves on it. So here it is. I really like it. All right, let me scooch in. So the pattern I'm using is, it's Yume or Yume by Isabel Kramer. And here it is. There it is. And I'm doing the short sleeves because in Georgia, it really, it doesn't get that cold. Maybe at night a little bit, but not even during the day when the sun's out. If the sun's out, it can just, it's not really going to be that cold. Maybe we might have a day here or there. So that's that. And the yarn that I'm using is this yarn. I've said it before, I don't know much about it. It doesn't, this is all the label says when I bought the yarn, and I can't remember the company, but it's prime alpaca in the colorway oatmeal, 665 yards for 8 ounces. And it's, you know, it's very soft. And the needles I'm using my high sharps and 3.75 needles. So that works in progress. So I have to skein this up, or cake this up, and get the sweater back on the needles and carry on. Okay, so my next works in progress is a crochet. And it is in my Nomadic Yarns bag. Okay, so this is attached to 3 skeins of yarn, so I have to be careful. Well, let me just tell you this real quick. The pattern I'm using, this is a shawl, or, well, yeah, I guess. Where's the front? Oh no, here we go. So it is the Autumn Meadow shawl, and this is it. And yeah, and I don't know if this is the front or back. I think this is the front. Like I said, it's got, oh, it's tangled up, but anyway, here it is. Here's the shawl. That's where I was last time, so I've done all of that. There it is. And so it's like asymmetrical shawl. Oh, look at all the yarn everywhere. So I'm not cutting the yarn every time I start a new row. I'm just carrying the yarn up the sides for this stripe section, so that's why everything is attached. But here it is. I love it. I love it. So let's see. I told you about the pattern. And the yarn that I'm using is Hobby Lobby yarn. This is the Yarn Bee Highlights yarn. And this yarn is a number 3 DK. It is 79% acrylic, 20% polyamide, and 1% metallic for 100 grams, 348 meters. And the yarn is made in Turkey. So the 3 colors that I'm using, the first one is gold. This one is gold. And I don't know, can you see the bits? See, it's got a bit of sparkle in it, just slightly. And the next one is rust. Here's this one. And the sparkles. And the last one is spa. You can't see the sparkles in that. Oh, maybe a little bit. So these are the yarns that I'm using. And I am using a 5mm crochet hook for that. So that works in progress. like looking at it on the, it looks good. Okay, so my next two works in progress are knitted socks. I have 2 socks going. I don't normally, I try to make sure I'm just doing 1 pair of socks at a time because, I mean, I love to knit socks. I could have 10 socks going if I wasn't careful. So, but these I couldn't decide. These are, you know, for fall, Halloween, and so I couldn't decide which ones I wanted to start first, so I started them both. So this is in my Tea Doddles bag. And the first pair of socks, this is what I've gotten so far. I'll show you this way. This is what I've gotten so far. So it's just going to be my regular vanilla sock on 2.25 needles. And these are my Addi Turbos. I do them on 32-inch cord. And here's the yarn that I'm using. And this yarn is a, Peyton's Croy sock yarn. I got this at Hobby Lobby. Let's see, it is a, let's see, what's all the details. So it is 166 yards for 50 grams, 75% wool, 25% nylon. It's made in Turkey, and the colorway is mid-century stripes. So there we go. I have 2 skeins of this. I'm not sure. I may, because I'm going to do a contrasting, I think I am, a toe and a heel. If I can find some other Peyton's Croy sock yarn that I have laying around, there's some scraps that'll go with this. I'd like to do contrasting toes and heels and just use 1 skein, so I may not care if they match up or not. I might just not worry about that. Because the other one, the other skein, I'd kind of like to make a hat out of it. So we'll see. And you know, this yarn is not the softest of yarns. These are like very durable socks though, and I do like these sock yarns. It's a lot thicker than a lot of sock yarns, so you can't really, like, I couldn't use the stroll for the heels, you know, the heels or toes, because it's such a different yarn. It's so different. It's so much softer. It's smaller. So I really need to find, I know that I have some. I knit my husband a pair of socks with Peyton's Croy, and if I could find the scraps for that, what I have left over, I think they would go well with this. So we'll see. So at any rate, that's a lot of blathering on for stuff I don't even know what I'm going to do. All right, so there's that sock. And then the next sock is also in a Tea Doddles bag. And so this is more so for Halloween. So I suppose I should be working on this first. But here's this. I keep showing you. So this is what I've got done on this sock so far. Everything's the same except for these are my high sharps, but everything else is the same. So yeah, so in the yarn that I'm using, here's this yarn, and this is Nomadic Yarns. Let me get the label. Nomadic Yarns. Here it is. This is Black Flame Candle. It's on her trusty sock base, 462 yards for 100 grams, 25% superwash merino and 25% nylon. So I will probably definitely match these up. For the heels and toes, I have this yarn. This is also Nomadic Yarns, and it's Black Cat. On her trusty sock base, 92 yards, 20 grams, and 75.25. So these will be the heels and the toes. And I'll do an afterthought heel on these because I find that the easiest. So these are I definitely want these done for Halloween. Well, that's what I would like. So, see, I couldn't decide which ones to start because I want them both. They're so different, though. If you just look at these, because of the yarn, the difference in the yarn. See how much bigger this one? I feel, well, I don't know if you can tell as much on camera, but, you know, this is just a lot bigger. It looks a lot bigger than this. And it's very different knitting them. But there they are, my socks. There they are. Okay, guys, that is all my finished objects and my works in progress for this week. I want to thank you all for joining me. I hope you all have a great rest of your week. And let's see, that's about it. I can't think of anything else. Thank you again for joining me, and I will see you soon. And until then, bye.